What's up, guys? Thank you so much for tuning back into our channel. We're VRDGO, and today we have a topic that we're going to discuss that's been on the top of a lot of people's minds, and it is how to stay motivated throughout the pandemic, right? Because essentially, a lot of us maybe have discovered new things that we may have never done before throughout this pandemic, but there's a lot of us out there who have lost motivation of things that we truly love to do. You know, whether that is to paint, to create music, dancing, whatever it is. But a lot of us, just because of so many distractions going on in the world today, whether it's the election or the media, that we've become unmotivated and just really glued to our telephones. And what we want to discuss today is how to get over that. Just that what would you say? Just
that hump, that obstacle on the road, basically it's yourself. How do you get out of your own way to get back on track and do the things that you're passionate about? And, that's what this discussion is going to be about today, because it's been about 6 or 7 months, since the initial lockdown, and then, just kind of the ups and downs with the different restrictions regarding COVID, the numbers going up and down. And there's just a tremendous amount of anxiety out there, and people are really struggling to, figure out ways to pay their bills and trying to get jobs right now. So it just makes it extra stressful. And when you're distracted by something like that it's, very serious, you lose motivation, you lose your drive to do the things that you love. And so that's why we want to, basically share with you some things that my brother and I do and that we're currently trying right now to, keep us back on track and keep us motivated and to stay inspired.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And the reality is, a lot of us have day jobs. In fact, my brother and I have day jobs in addition to doing our music and magic and everything. And luckily, we have day jobs to keep us busy. But the problem is, or the challenge is, getting home from work. Whether when you're done for the day, you have dinner, you have other responsibilities, and still trying to set together or to set aside some time to work on the things that you truly love. And that's definitely been a big obstacle even for us. Back in July for myself, I had COVID, and I stayed away from my mom and my brother for almost 2 months because, the media says one thing in terms of how it's going to spread, but no one really knew. And the last person I'd ever want to get sick is my mom, of course. So right there, a lot of course, motivation and inspiration kind of died out in terms of wanting to work on my magic or my music with my brother. And I know my brother could probably agree with this too, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because, when my brother and I were apart and we couldn't be together, it definitely put me in a different headspace, something that, just brought me down. And, we, have battled kind of, back and forth, with, what do we believe? Who's telling the truth in the media? Is my brother still viral shedding and stuff, 2-3 weeks after, he's supposedly over the virus? There's just so much misinformation out there and confusion, really. So, just out of an abundance of caution, we stayed apart, and, we did everything we could. Even when we got back together, we were kind of wearing masks, and, it was just an awkward, experience.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Just putting that behind me, of course, has been, a blessing, just because I was able to get through it. But just trying to find that inspiration to continue to do what you love. And for my brother and myself, I think for us, it was discovering new artists or new music.
Yeah, for sure. My brother would always remind me that, hey, every Friday, like on Spotify, for example, they would have the release radar. And so I would make sure to always throw it on every Friday. And, I've discovered a lot of people just through the release radar. There's many different ways of doing it. YouTube, obviously, SoundCloud. But, we've always looked to other producers and other artists to find that inspiration that may, be lacking, or that, we're kind of having a hard time finding for whatever reason that, that we're dealing with. But yeah, that's been huge. Just, listening to other, music. Whenever I listen to a song, for example, and, I feel moved or inspired by it, I almost immediately share it with my brother and, my other friends and whoever. But is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so that's one way we do it. And then what's another way? What's another way that you get inspired?
Just discovering new talent, I think overall, like, so for Spotify, I don't know.
We talked about that, but what's another way? I mean,
Well, I know part of Spotify, not just only going through and finding new releases on Friday, but they have the Discover Weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're based off of other songs and other artists that you like. It will try to refer you to other songs that are similar to style. And we've been able to discover a lot of talent that way. However, I think one of the biggest things, you know, like when I talk about inspiration, is Morton has been a big influence in the production world, especially just his sound, David Guetta's sound. And as a result of that, we created a song that's right up the alley of that future rave sound. So this is what I'm talking about, like as far as like drawing inspiration. Like, okay, so what is going on? What's out there? What's fresh? And some of his music really did inspire us. So we created this track, and it's called Visions, right? You want to talk a little bit about what happened?
Yeah. So, I mean, basically, as many people know, because David Guetta just won #1 DJ in the world by DJ Mag Top 100. And so, I mean, that's massive, right? But him and Morton have been working on this sound over the last few years, and they call it Future Rave. And it's something that a lot of people in the industry are very excited about, because it is something fresh, you know, with a touch of something that, you know, has always worked in the past. So it's got a really big sound, and they're sort of carving out their own movement. So that was inspiring for us to see another guy. Who's this guy, Morton? And we got to, you know, read up on him and find out that, you know, he's a pretty popular Danish DJ from Denmark, and that he had developed a friendship with David Guetta over the course of a few years. And then finally, you know, they had sort of worked on this sound together, and then now it's just like, it's like one of the hottest things. And so we always kind of thought that if we could somehow get our music played by Morton or David Guetta, I mean, that would be enough for us. And the crazy thing is, after focusing and using that inspiration from Morton and David Guetta, we let that sort of guide us in the direction to create this song called Visions. And we also made sure to put like our own twist on it as well. So, you know, and as a result, we sent it out, and Morton, he decided that he was going to play it on a radio station in Miami. So it was a Revolution Radio 93.5. And I think the guy that hosted is Madness. So, I mean, we just can't.
Yeah. So shout out to both you guys for supporting, and Morton, of course, for playing our song. We really appreciate it.
Huge, because I mean, we even actually filmed a reaction video. So you might see that at some point here. So yeah, I mean, it was just an amazing experience to actually go from just looking for inspiration to finding it, and then using that inspiration to create something, and then actually push it out there, and it actually gets played on the airwaves by, you know, Morton of all people.
Yeah, and to that point, and thanks for sharing that. Really, right now, we're in a time where a lot of your favorite artists or people that you love are at home. You know, it's just, especially for entertainers or even like ourselves, we can't be on the road doing shows right now, like the rest of many artists, musicians, and DJs. And this is also a great time to network with some of these people that you may have never thought of even reaching out to, or maybe they would never even talk to you. However, the humble ones will. They'll definitely respond to you. And maybe some of the other ones that are really big in terms of what they do, they might just be too busy, or they're just not humble enough to get back to you, right? There's definitely some of those out there. But honestly, for my brother and I, we've been able to build some connections over this pandemic. You literally have to just turn this situation into an opportunity and try to find and make the best of it. Just try to make it a little more positive, and reach deep, and maybe you just find what motivates you, or find what inspires you. You know, dig for that artist, dig for that song, dig for whoever that is. If you're into painting or videography, maybe watch some new tutorials, something that will help push what you love to do forward a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Self-help books, I think, are really helpful. I mean, at least they are for me. And if you're the type of person who's pretty busy because you work a day job and you got all these things going on in life, right? You could just always use an audiobook. And sometimes, you know, I can find audiobooks that are pretty good on YouTube just for free. So there's ways to find inspiration, and you should always be curious. You know,
Yeah,
you
I think
definitely want to
that's
stay
huge.
curious and
Absolutely.
always look for new ways to find information or you know, be open-minded to how other people approach these obstacles in life and how they look for inspiration. And I promise you, you will find stuff that you could